Living room status today?
Hey,
How we doing?
good.
Living room?
Yep.
Yeah.
hmm
Couch route. I love it. I'm all about the couch. You know that.
Yeah, I'm on the couch today because the wife has my computer, and I just want
Oh,
to go upstairs.
okay. All right. All right. Hey, look at this. So, perks are coming in the office. Free wrap snacks, baby. Free
Oh,
wrap snacks. None by none other than Master P.
wow! Shout out Master P for the free.
Unfortunately, he's not paying us to advertise his wrap snacks, but they are really good. So go get you some.
Well, tell them for each view we should get like 5 cents.
Yeah, yeah.
So, oh,
Oh, how you doing, man?
I'm good. I like the haircut.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Got a nice little lineup right there. Thank you. Thank you.
Where'd you go?
I go to this place called Lady Jane's in Cool Springs, over by where the Canton Buffet is and the Dick's Sporting Goods.
Yeah. Well, how about that? Free advertising for them as well.
Man, what are we doing over here? What are we doing? We're just giving out free advertising.
Maybe this is just us trying to say that maybe we need sponsor us. I don't know. Sponsor us. But anyway, hey, welcome into the Mind of a Coach podcast. This is episode 47.
47.
Andre Karolinko.
There we go. Say no. That's it. Leave it at that. Andre Karolinko.
I don't even want to think about another one. It's got to be Andre Karolinko. Welcome in, Asa, my guy. How are you doing? How was your weekend? We got to talk about it.
I'm good, man. I'm alive and kicking. Let's talk about it. So you and I, we gave our predictions, right, on what we go. We gave our predictions. I think you said 12 to 14. I said about 8 to 10.
Maybe.
Yeah, I think you said 12 to 14. I said 8 to 10. So first day we get out there. We have a practice round on Friday. Kind of feeling out the course, and it was a fun day, really fun day, long day. And then Friday we get out there, playing okay to start off. We start out hot, right? We start out hot. Our first 6 holes were really, really good.
Saturday we got out there.
Saturday we get on. First 6 holes were really good. Middle 6 we struggled a ton. So we get to the last 6 holes. We're 3 under, right? We get to 6 under earlier, 7 under earlier in the day. We get to 3 under going into the last 2 holes, and then we end 6 under on day 1, which was Saturday, right? Yep. And dude, I wish I should have had the rules with me. I should have had the rules that I wrote down.
Well, you chipped an eagle in. And then I put a birdie in.
And then you put an awesome 15-foot birdie putt in to end day 1. That was awesome, man.
Yeah, unfortunately, the only good thing I did all weekend, I'm going to have to resign from the golfing podcast after this past weekend. It was an abysmal performance. I left disappointed. I honestly don't think I'll touch a golf club for the next however long. I'm dead serious when I said I don't think I'll touch a golf club. It'll have to be at least a month.
Look, it was a team game this weekend. It was a team game, team game. 4 tries at it. You picked up slack. You picked up slack. That's all. That's what it was. You picked up some slack here and there. It's not.
I was happy to have you guys as my teammates. Carried us, but second day not as good. We won't get into the details, but could have been better.
Could have been better. We ended up going 4 under on the second day to put us at 10 under for the weekend. So
after Aaron had got us on the green and 2, and we eagled hole number 1. Eli makes a huge putt.
Yep. We had just some abysmal bogeys. We had some really bad bogeys is what killed us.
Absolutely. But hey, Asa, what do you got to get off your chest over there? I see you're itching it.
No, you know what, Nate? I'm gonna relax today. I'm gonna give the parents a break after I told all their kids to wear hoodies to class last week. So I'm gonna take a break. I know my mom probably just had a heart attack when she heard me tell people that. So I'm gonna cool it this week.
Have you had any backfire from it?
No, I haven't.
Because I will not take any of the blame for that.
You can put it on me, Nate. You can put it on me.
Good. Well, you about ready?
Let's do it, man.
Sounds like a pace. Have you introduced him yet?
No, I have not, Nathan. But if you don't mind, I was going to go ahead and get into it, if that's all right. We have Coach Aaron Morrison joining the show with us right now. Aaron Morrison played high school basketball at Madison Academy in Alabama. He went to undergrad at Lipscomb University before becoming a graduate assistant under Casey Alexander at Lipscomb while Nathan and I were there. He has spent the last 3 years working with the Stars basketball organization. He was an assistant coach for 3 years at Grace Christian Academy. Academy before getting hired as the head coach at Middle Tennessee Christian this past April. Aaron, dude, thank you for coming on, man. It's a pleasure. You just got hired back in April. Talk to us about the last 3, 4 months, whatever it's been.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, first off, thank you guys for having me, man. Like when I was looking at the guys, and I listen to you guys all the time, and having listened to, all your podcasts and all the guests you've had on, man, I'm more than honored. I'm like, man, I can't believe they asked me to be on the podcast after having like basically my Mount Rushmore coaches of like Lenny Acuff and Casey and all those guys on here. I'm like, man, that's pretty awesome. So thank you guys for that. But no, man, the past few months, ever since April, has been a whirlwind, to be honest.
Because you had something else happen during that time.
Yeah, I did. May 12th, I had a baby. So first, I didn't have a baby. My wife had a baby, but we had our first child, Aylin, and she was born May 12th. So she's 2 months old now. In that process, the whole, from April to now, got my first head coaching job. Was coaching, Stars, our 17U team. So travel a lot with that. About to start teaching in the classroom for the first time ever. So kind of trying to figure out how to do all that kind of stuff as well. And had a baby. So it's been a whirlwind, to be honest, but I wouldn't change a thing. It's been so much fun. And, I've learned so much in like 3 months. Like I said, it's almost like drinking from a fire hose. So I'm excited. I've gotten opportunities that I never thought I'd get. And, the ability to do the thing that I love and get paid to do it. So I'm excited.
Yeah. So I have a question about, we have something in common, and it's that we have a pretty tight-knit tree, us two. I mean, between Lipscomb and working for Lynn McNatt, he was my coach for, 4 years in high school, 2 years in middle school. So what are some things that has shaped your basketball coaching philosophy from Casey, Roger, Sean, Steve, and Lynn? It can be all of them. It can be one, however you want to attack it.
Yeah, all of them have had a huge hand in where I am today. From the Lipscomb side of things, that coaching staff that I got to spend time around, I honestly don't know very many guys that are more concerned with the spiritual side and the spiritual well-being of their players than Roger Eacham and Steve Draven specifically. Those two guys, man, like honestly, that's one thing I took away is those guys care so much about their guys' faith and their faith journey and making sure they're doing, they're directing guys in that path just as much as they are in basketball. And same to be said for Sean and Casey as well. But I spent a lot more time around Roger and Steve than I did Sean and Casey while I was at Lipscomb. But and then from the basketball side of things, man, just seeing the organization of a Division I basketball program and how organized every detail is, from travel to practice planning to film to the logistical side of things outside of travel, just every day-to-day logistics. Seeing the recruiting side of things, seeing the organization it takes to run a Division I program, and the time commitment that takes as well. Because, it showed me personally that, I always knew I was like, I want to coach college basketball for a little bit, and ultimately I want to be a high school coach. And it showed me during that year I was a GA that, I love college basketball and I love being a part of that staff and being able to do that. But if I want to be in high school, ultimately I should just go ahead and do that, because the time commitment that is required to do what those guys do is unbelievable. And I think if I had done that, if I'd had that GA year before I was married, I may still be doing something in college basketball. Who knows if I'd gotten opportunities, but being married and the thought of uprooting my family, moving and doing things of that nature that are required to continue to coach in college, it was something I didn't necessarily want to do. And so I did figure that out as well while being a GA, which was important. But man, and ending up with Lynn McNatt was an absolute blessing. Talk about a guy that is, when you talk about work ethic, if you ask me the hardest working person I know, it's Lynn McNatt, hands down, hardest working person I've ever met. Will do absolutely anything for anyone and is a basketball just junkie. He loves it and knows it incredibly well. And I learned so many intricacies, especially from like in-game coaching from Lynn, where that I didn't know before, and just understanding how to manage a game from the sidelines and understanding, seeing the little changes and things that he does with it throughout a game to make adjustments, especially with a team that's not super talented, and the ability for him to win a possession here, win a possession there because of little things he does within a game that are minute but make a huge difference in the grand scheme of things. But ultimately, the thing I took away from Lynn the most is how to absolutely love your players and loving them through serving them, and talk about someone that guy. If someone said, "Hey, coach, Lynn, I want to get in the gym at 4:30 this morning," he'd be there waiting on him and open the gym and rebound for him and do whatever he could do. And that's a testament to him, man. And just being able to take that away from him from a work ethic standpoint, learning more about the game and just how to love your players was huge and has helped me so much.
Yeah, absolutely. He is one of the, I tell everybody I come across that Lynn McNatt is the definition of a servant leader.
Absolutely.
100%. Okay, so tell me a little bit about Stars basketball. You've been working with Stars for a little bit. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I got connected with Lance Ackridge 3 years ago, and Lance is the director of Stars, and I wanted to kind of get into that world a little bit, but I'm gonna be honest with you, there wasn't very many places I felt comfortable going and coaching with, and that's not a knock on anybody. It's just I wanted to be somewhere that prioritized the right things within travel basketball and had the right direction and the right leadership. And when I met Lance, it was a no-brainer for me. And Lance is, he kind of runs the show over there and is one of the most, that guy is on top of things when it comes to organization and leading a program like that. I would be shocked if you found anywhere in the country with someone better than him. That guy is on top of it. I mean, he knows every detail of every little thing and is organized to a T. We never have issues that other programs sometimes have with practice spots or with, coaching or changes of coaches, or, he vets everything. It's just, he's awesome. But so I got connected with him and started coaching with him 3 years ago, and started out with a middle school age group. So I had a 7th grade team. And I moved up with them to 8th grade last year during COVID year, and we didn't get to do a whole lot, but it was fun. It was a lot of fun being able to be with those guys for 2 years. And then this year we had a spot open up with high school premier, and Lance wanted to move me up and have me with the high school premier team. And so he put me with the 17U 2022 premier team this year. And man, I had the best group that I could ever ask for this year. Those guys were awesome. So it's a lot of fun being able to kind of be in that world, be in the high school world, and kind of do a little bit of both, and get to coach a different set of guys during the summers and spring, and be able to work with guys that are, most of the guys on my team were the best guys in their high school teams. So it's fun to kind of put a collection of talent together and be able to work with those guys.
Yeah, absolutely. So your first year coaching high school AAU basketball and your first year as the head coach at MTCS. Yeah. So tell me a little bit about what you might take from being head coach at Stars into your head coaching job at your high school.
Yeah, just honestly, in-game experience of just being a head coach. Also, the ability to communicate and deal with parents and logistics as a head coach. I think that's probably the biggest takeaway I've had, to be honest with you. And it's something that most people probably don't think about a lot. Okay, I'm taking a head coaching job. How am I going to communicate and deal with parents? Because that's a huge piece of both sides of that. The high school side and the AAU side is, parents with their kids, and not necessarily parent issues, but making sure that you're communicating well and conveying your message and your vision for how you're going to coach their kids, and making sure that they are, that they're ultimately buying into you as a coach and trust you to coach their sons, because one, they're investing a lot of money and they're trusting you to make their son better and to ultimately, coach their son well. And so I think that's one of the biggest things is just taking away how to communicate and deal with parents and make sure that they have a proper understanding of what you're doing and your vision. And then ultimately, when it comes to basketball, honestly, AAU is almost an experimental time for me as a coach. I can experiment with different practice. I can experiment with different sets in a game that I, think of or like. And you can do a little bit different, because when you have a little bit more high level talent, you can kind of you can draw something up in a timeout and they grasp it a little bit better than a high school team might. And so you get a little bit of time to experiment with stuff. And then if it works and you like it, then you can kind of pull it into your high school or high school team and do stuff there. But it's been a great way to prepare for a first head coaching job at a high school for sure. And I think that was a big part of me getting the high school job, is the fact that I did have a little bit of head coaching experience, even though it wasn't with a school. I did have that on my resume.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the biggest things I want people to know is that, one, you did not have the most intimidating looking guys on your AAU team. However, you might have been one of the most fun teams to watch. And so going off that, I was going to ask you, what did you guys practice to share the ball so well? I mean, you guys shared the ball better than any other AAU team I really saw. So how was that coaching, and how was that just the players that you coached?
It's a little bit of both. And I think it's more to do with the players, to be honest with you, because if they don't want to pass the ball, they're not going to do it. You have to have guys that buy into everything you're doing. And honestly, when I was evaluating and picking my team at tryouts, I had very specific criteria in mind for what I wanted. I didn't care about size. And, you mentioned our guys don't look very intimidating or imposing. And I told my guys almost probably before every game, I'm like, guys, if we buy into what we're doing and what we do every day in practice, we'll be successful. But I guarantee you on paper, no one in this gym would pick us, maybe against any opponent we played all summer. Nobody. You line them up, nobody's picking us. So we better be really good at the things we work on every day. And so, for me personally, what I picked my team based around was perimeter shooting. I thought that was really important because at tryouts, I didn't have a ton of size, and the size that was there was not very skilled. So I knew my team was going to be smaller. And I also, so perimeter shooting, I also really wanted to have several point guards on my roster because I thought it was really important to have guys that can handle great decision makers, guys that can see the floor in transition, because something that we do, our philosophy is whoever gets the defensive rebound takes off. There's no outlet. We just take off, and we look to pitch it ahead and get the ball crossing half court in the air. And so I figured with multiple point guards and multiple decision makers that are good decision makers, whoever got that rebound was capable of attacking, making great decisions in transition, and getting the ball moving early and putting a lot of pressure on the defense. So that was a big piece of my evaluation. And the third thing, I'm going to be honest with you, was this one's a little bit different and weird, but the third thing for me was I had a conversation with every kid that tried out, and I wanted guys that I felt could have a conversation with an adult and it not be uncomfortable or awkward. Because if you're really talented, but you struggle to voice your opinion or have conversations with your teammates or have conversations with your coach or give feedback on what you think is working and not working and give, constructive criticism to your coach or to your players. I want a guy that's comfortable doing that and comfortable, walking up, having a conversation, looking me in the eye. I thought that was really important to building a team that's going to play for each other and play really hard and be very coachable. And so that was part of the criteria for evaluating my team and how I picked the guys. And then, once we got into practice, our practices revolved around, 3 or 4 things. And really for us, it was our alignment. So the way we align is a 5-out spacing, and we wanted to make sure we were filling it. We ran a 2-sided break in transition as well. And so we wanted to make sure that we were getting wide and then deep in transition and trying to pitch ahead as much as possible, especially that double side in transition. So we worked on transition stuff a lot. We worked perimeter shooting. We tracked all of our shooting in practice all summer. So we shot tons.
How did you guys track that before you go any further? How did you guys do
I actually got that from Casey. And what we did at Lipscomb was, 2-minute threes, things like that, where we were recording makes and misses. And
were you the one recording, or did you have someone helping you?
I was recording everything. I was writing it all down. I had a spreadsheet that I would print off and write stuff in and populate it when I got to the house. So we were recording all that, and we shot from our geographies, the places where we get a lot of shots. So we took, I think, 65% of our threes from the corners, and then about 25%, 25 to 30% were from the wings, and then about 10% from top of the key. So we shot majority of our threes during those 2-minute segments were from the corners, and that's because what we do on offense is we try to open double and triple gaps, and usually that corner that you're driving in the gap towards is usually filled. with a shooter. So if that gap help comes, we usually pitch. So
do you leave them corner or do you lift?
No, we leave them. So I ask my guys a question. The corner guy asks himself a question on that drive is, does the driver need help or does he need space? If he's still attacking, so he has a live dribble, he needs space to attack into the gap. If his dribble's killed and he's dead, then he needs help, and that's your cue to lift out of the corner to help him out. So that's kind of how we have that corner discipline, I call it. So that's our corner discipline, and we hold deep corner until that guy absolutely needs help. Then we'll lift out. So that's kind of what we do in terms of why we shoot from those spots is we get that quick pitch out to the corner a lot. And we get that shot a lot, especially in the half court and in transition. So we shoot a ton, we work transition, pitch aheads. And then the rest of practice for us is decision-making with an advantage. So we'll do a lot of 2-on-1. We base everything, our entire offense is around penetration reads. So once you get in the gap, you're making your reads. So if you get that initial advantage over your defender, you're reading that gap help if you're driving to the right, you're reading that gap help from the corner and your right. And then you're reading that weak side help rotating over. So that tells you where your reads are. And we rep those constantly in practice. Everything we do is a 2-on-1, 3-on-2, 4-on-3, some kind of offensive advantage to find what we call the big advantage. And we find that through getting the first domino to fall and then keeping the ball moving, letting the ball talk, which is that ball movement that you spoke about, until we find what we call a big advantage shot. So that's really, kind of how we played, and we did that constantly in practice and got great results out of it.
Man. Yeah, that's phenomenal. Wow.
I tell you what, if the impact of guys like Rick Bird and Don Meyer and now Casey their impact on people is so widespread and so deep, because Aaron, everything you just said is, first of all, it was incredible. And what I'm getting at is this, like, Nate, you mentioned how team was not intimidating, and you wanted Aaron, you said you wanted a guy that could look you in the eye, and so much of that stuff translates. Having a conversation with an adult. So many team. The way that I remember when Belmont was playing Duke in the NCAA tournament back in 2007. My dad went to the shoot around before the game, and Duke's down there, they're dunking, they're doing all this, and Belmont's just on the other end shooting threes and layups and stuff, and they go out the next day and they lose by 1 point or whatever it was. Man, I thought that popped in my head when you were saying all that stuff. Looking you in the eye and having a conversation with adult things of that nature. I wanted to ask you what the science was behind it, but I know now you answered it. I mean, it was all that stuff. It does translate, and it translates to having a solid, mentally tough team as well. I think that's awesome, man. I think that stuff is so cool. I think you're on the right track. I do have a question. You were a GA when we were there, and as a player, you don't really think too much about the young guy on the staff or anything like that. And I'm kind of in that position right now, and I'm not really asking necessarily about your role as a GA, but kind of, and you said earlier you knew you wanted to do college for a little bit and then get back in high school eventually. Kind of what was where was your life at that time as you were being a GA and figuring out your role in basketball and where you wanted to take it? What was just going on in your mind and in your life at that time?
Yeah, so before I got the opportunity, I had gone. So my best friend in the entire world is a guy named Tyler Parker, and he and I graduated from high school together. And he's assistant coach now at University of South Alabama, Richie Riley. And so he and I, when we were about to graduate college, we went out and basically tried to go to work every college camp that we could. That was back when networking was a little bit more difficult. So what we did, we went to Kentucky, Vanderbilt, LSU. We went all around trying to network and meet as many college people as we could to try to get some kind of opportunity. And because I knew that I wanted to coach college basketball. I knew I wanted to do it, and so did he. And so we hit the road and spent all our money driving around all over the South to all these different places to try to figure out if we could get an opportunity somewhere. Tyler ended up going to he stayed at Faulkner where he played, and he ended up getting on staff there, and then has gone all over the place since then and landed at South Alabama. But I didn't get an opportunity out of that. And so I was a little bit bummed. But I was about to get married, and I was like, I'll figure something out. I'll eventually coach, but I've got to find a job. I'm getting married. So I got a job at Lipscomb in admissions recruiting. And so I worked in admissions recruiting for a year. almost a year. And then I was continuing to plug away, looking for some kind of opportunity in the college coaching world. And I actually had an potential opportunity at Longwood University. Yeah. So it was Farmville, Virginia. And I told Summer, my wife, and she was like, I don't want to move to Farmville, Virginia. And I was like, me either. So let's something else. And so I was like, if that's the only opportunity, like I'm going to pray really hard and see if that's what God wants me to do and potentially do it. And so I ended up just walking into Roger Eadstrom's office one day and being like, hey, what do you got for me? Anything. Like, I'll do anything, whatever. So I ended up getting a GA spot there and at Lipscomb, thankfully. And honestly, I was recently married. Like, I'd been married for about 8-9 months at that point. And the little known fact, at Lipscomb at the time, the GA spot was basically a volunteer position in terms of, obviously you don't get paid, but you don't get your school paid for, nothing. So basically I was doing it. I left a job where I had a decent starting salary to do the GA spot for $0, period, nothing. And so that was a tough spot too. It was really tough, but it was something I knew that going in. So that's kind of where I was at in life, was like, I was willing to walk away from a job, having just gotten married, a salary, comfortable salary and benefits, to take on something where I knew I was not going to get paid, lose all my benefits, to pursue something I wanted to pursue. And I wouldn't change a thing. I would not change a thing. I thought that year I got to spend with you guys as a GA was one of the best years ever. Like, it was awesome. I loved every second of it, getting to hang out with you guys and get to know you guys and learn so much. And ultimately, I think that was a big part. Another big part of me landing a head coaching job was having that on my resume as well. And, kind of validates you a little bit to have spent time around a Division I program, especially one that's in a coach that's been as successful as Casey has. So there's nothing I'd change about it. But yeah, in terms of stage of life, I was in probably the worst stage I could have been in to get to take a GA spot like that. But, like I said, I wouldn't trade it for anything. It was so much fun.
Yeah. Man,
that's phenomenal.
Yeah. I was so curious about that because, the time after college and when you're trying to get into it, and Nate knows too, it's just, it's a weird time sometimes, and it's very much so.
Yeah. And exactly what you said too, Aaron, is like I took a GA spot at Missouri Western right as I came out, and had to do the accelerated program because there was only so many credits that transferred to my master's program, and I made a grand total of $0 that year as well in my first year of marriage. So, I mean, there definitely is a ton of sacrifice, and Asa knows it too. It's just like getting into this business is not easy.
It's not. Summer always makes the comment. She's like, you have to be crazy to want to coach basketball. High school, college, she's like, because you work more than anyone. Like, you have to work more than just about anyone I know, and you get paid less than anyone I know. And I'm like, right. I'm like,
but it's basketball. That's what I tell everybody.
We're also
like we're coaching, like, and everybody says it's not, like, whenever I say this, they go the other way, but we're coaching a kid's game, and it's the best thing in the world. So
it's the best thing in the world. It's worth it.
It is, dude. It's the greatest thing ever. And we're also crazy because we put our livelihoods in the hands of 18 to 21-year-olds.
Well, in his case, it's 14 to 18.
Right.
Yeah.
So
you're right.
So even crazier. But hey, Aaron, so tell me a little bit about coaching college basketball. You coached for a year in college basketball. What is the biggest difference between college and high school?
I know the easy answer is talent, but it's so true. Like, it's you. When you're at the college level, you have guys that have even the guys that aren't very good have such a high level IQ and understand the game, and it makes teaching and coaching a little bit easier. Where at the high school level, you are dealing with guys that a lot of them are just doing it because they want to hang out with their friends that are on the basketball team. And so they don't really, it's not really a big deal to them to be very good or not. They just want to come and be a part of the team, and that's fine. It's great. And I love that there are guys that want to just be a part, but that's probably the biggest difference to me is at the college level, like, it's a little bit more transactional because there's a transaction that takes place with money being given, expectations being set, and, people's livelihoods being on the line a little bit more. and we're at the high school level, you're just getting you're really creating an experience for those kids. You can do that at college too. You're creating experiences for those kids, understanding like basketball is not everything to these kids. It's not the first, second, third, fourth most important thing to most of them.
Yeah.
You may have one or two where it's really important, and then the rest of them are like, do I really have to be here? Do I really have to do this?
Yes.
So, I just kind of want to kick it with my friends, like, and that's okay. And so you have to have that expectation. And I think my first year or two, in high school, I was really frustrated because I was used to my year with Lipscomb where I was like, man, these guys are great, really talented. They all want to get in the gym and work, where high school, they're not super talented. They have different motivations, I guess you could say. I think that's the biggest takeaway is kind of what motivates what motivates the high school kids, what motivates the college guys.
Yeah, and I think that's super interesting because in high school, I remember one of my teammates coming up to me and, I was just frustrated because I was curious, why is not everybody getting in the gym as much as I am? Like, why isn't everybody getting in the gym as much as I am? And I asked one of my like really good friends, and he said, Nate, why would I spend all that time in the gym when this is the only time I'm ever going to play basketball? He said, I'm going to go to school in college. I would rather have good grades. And I was like, yeah, I guess that's fair.
That was
that's
not
pretty
me.
fair.
I never had that attitude.
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, okay, so Aaron, speaking of transactional, how do you feel about name, image, and likeness coming into college basketball?
I think it's interesting. I think it's really interesting. Obviously, it changes the entire landscape of everything. At first, I was a little hostile towards it. I was like, oh, don't corrupt the game and all this stuff. And that was kind of the old school thinking in my head. But honestly, I think if it's used the right way and like can be channeled the right way, like it can be super, super cool, and can create opportunities for kids that, that they may not have, obviously they didn't have in the past, and is a new way that they can potentially, when I'm looking at the positives, I think, well, maybe this is a way where you can keep guys in college a little bit longer, where they don't feel they have to jump and be a second round pick and end up playing in who knows where because they need some cash, or they need, they're ready to get out of the college thing and make some money. Now there's avenues for them to make money and potentially stay in school a little bit longer and have more of a college experience while not feeling the financial burden they may experience.
Wow. Yeah.
Before. So I don't know. That's to me, that's the biggest positive takeaway that I've kind of thought of when it comes to that.
Yeah. I guess Nate, maybe it was Coach Massey or something. We were talking about it with him as well. And he was talking about, he wasn't saying this was going to happen, but, he mentioned some concerns that could possibly arise. One of them, jealousy in the locker room and guys being, and I'm like, well, hang on.
Coach Massey.
Like Nate, if we were in our locker room, Aaron, you can attest to this. If somebody was making, tens of thousands of dollars from a deal, nobody would have had any animosity in our locker room.
That's correct. But that's also, we had a different.
True. But also, now hang on, I got something else. We had a guy, Marcus Fitzgerald, had a signing this weekend, had a birthday signing down at a store down in Nashville, and they made shirts and everything, and people came out, and nobody was envious of Marcus. The whole team was wearing his shirts and stuff. So, a lot of people push back on it and say it's going to ruin stuff, and I don't think so. I think if you got a good team and a good group of guys, the money's not going to – people make different amounts of money in all walks of life, and it doesn't add animosity necessarily to it.
Yeah, and that's actually pretty cool because what it sounds like is your team came together to support a teammate. It's more of an opportunity to support your teammate.
Yeah, they want it. They want that. They want you to have that deal or that endorsement or, whatever.
Yeah, not like that. If there's going to be division in a locker room, they're going to find a reason to create that division in their head, whether it's name, image, and likeness or something else. It doesn't matter what it is. Like there's going to be division if somebody has animosity towards somebody else. So
yeah,
absolutely. 100%. Hey, Aaron, do you mind getting into some rapid fire questions with us real quick?
Let's do it.
All right, man. Here we go. Last technical.
In Louisville 2 weeks ago.
Louisville 2 weeks ago?
Yeah. It was tough.
Did you deserve it?
I deserved the first one, not the second one.
You got kicked out?
I got ejected a minute into the game.
Oh my gosh. How did you get it in a minute?
Yeah. So, all right.
We need to hear this story.
Okay. All right. So,
Aaron, this is uncharacteristic.
It's very uncharacteristic. It was a quick whistle. It was a very quick whistle. I don't think I deserved this one. And honestly, my wife usually is like, you deserved it. This time she was like, I can't believe you got that. You didn't deserve that one. So we were playing a team from Minnesota that was really good, really, really good. And game starts. we're out athlete, outsize every position. We usually are, but it was significantly more this game. And we attacked the rim twice. I thought we got hacked from behind on 2 layups that we missed. And I thought in my head, if we're not getting that call tonight, this is going to be ugly. So I was like, I got a little bit aggressive with the ref on the way back down about the 2 calls and asked him if he was going to swallow his whistle the rest of the night or if he was actually going to give us some calls. And he didn't like that. So he hit me with the first tech immediately, a little bit quick. And then the second one, the ref that was actually down there on the baseline, this was, I think, 15 seconds after the first tech. The guy that was on the baseline comes down and said, "Sir, you really don't think that our guy got fouled 2 times in a row?" He said, "Nope, sure don't." And I said, "Okay." And I looked at Sam, your brother, and I said, "Sam, if we're not getting these calls, we might as well pack our stuff up and go home." And he hit me with the second tech right then and said, "Get out of my gym." And I was like,
Yeah, I
Sam,
don't. That sounds a little. He was hurt about something. He
was a little
okay. It was like a 9 o'clock tip off. He had been there all day.
Oh.
I was being a little bit. I should have kept.
No, hey, we all knew what Aaron was doing. Aaron was like, "I got a baby. I got a wife here. I'm going home. Good luck, Sam."
Of all the people that I've asked that question to, those first 2 questions, you were the last one that I thought was going to get kicked out 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I could.
Yeah,
honestly, it was shocking. To be honest, I was shocked. So.
Yeah. All right. Sorry, Penny just walked in. All right. Okay. My bad. Where are we at? All right. Next one. You ever done to basketball on a 10-foot rim?
Nope.
No, not even close. Close.
Not even close. I might have grazed the rim with my finger one time, maybe.
9.5.
9.5. I could hang on a 9.5. I might could dunk a volleyball on a 9.5 in high school, but it was, I had no ups. None.
So 9.
9, I definitely could.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah,
all right. You're up 3 at the end of a game. Do you foul or let it play out?
Depends on time, which I know that's not what you want to hear. You probably want me to give you a straightforward answer, but depends on how much time's left. But honestly,
I've said this before. I really don't need a straightforward answer. I just kind of, what side do you like better? Which one do you like better?
No foul. No foul.
Really?
Yeah. Think about it. What does a kid usually shoot from 3? A decent, like I'm thinking from a high school perspective, what does a decent high school player shoot from 3? Like 30%, 32%?
30. I mean, are we talking
think about it. Add a pressure situation, add usually off the bounce. You're taking a kid down to about 20% right then, probably, if that.
Yeah.
I'm rolling the dice. I'm taking my chances and letting him fire one up.
Yeah. Okay. I like that. I feel like I see so often that it just, they don't foul and something goes haywire and it turns out bad. I see that though. All right. Casual. Oh, sorry. Go for the tie, go for the win.
Win. Absolutely. Yeah.
Thank you for just straight up win. Thank you.
Absolutely.
All right. Casual or professional on the sidelines?
Casual. I like to wear sneakers on the sideline.
Yeah.
I usually do. Yeah.
I don't like dress shoes on the sideline.
Yeah, I don't either. It's kind of stuffy, uncomfortable.
Okay. Early morning.
A lot of movement.
Oh, yeah.
I said they get ruined. There's a lot of movement in those.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Early morning practice or evening or night practice?
Evening or night, anything other than early morning. I can't do it. I'm about 50% of myself as a coach if we practice early in the morning. I'm just in a fog. Lynn liked to practice it. Lynn liked to have 6 a.m. practices. And that was rough. Let me tell you. It was.
I don't know if that guy sleeps.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't sleep. So
Lynn seems so much like Coach King to me. Like just doesn't sleep, just obsessed, overly obsessive about the game of basketball and preparation, and that I love it. I love it.
Yeah. I mean, I truly wouldn't be surprised if Coach McNabb just like laid in bed like this.
I know. No, seriously though, I would not be shocked.
It just kept going.
Shocked.
All right, here we go. So if you weren't coaching basketball, what would you be doing?
It's a great question. Well, I own a sneaker store still. I guess
Yeah.
I guess I would still be doing that, I guess.
Yeah.
So
are you still involved with that?
I'm still an owner. Yeah. I don't do anything day to day anymore. But I'm still in ownership. Yeah.
Okay. Got you.
Well, while you're here and we're on this, before we get to the next rapid fire question, tell us a little bit about Rooted.
Yeah. So Rooted was a concept that myself and, some of you guys know the other 2 guys, but 2 of my friends, 2 close guys, friends of mine, we started in 2017 a sneaker store called Rooted that's downtown in Nashville, and It's something that we just, we ended up having some connections within that industry and able to land some key accounts like Nike and Jordan and Adidas. And it was a concept that really there was nothing like it in Nashville at the time from like a retail standpoint. And so we went for it. And so far it's been awesome. It's been really successful.
Dude, it's an awesome store, man. Y'all got some good stuff going on over there.
Thank you.
All right. You play any golf?
I'm terrible. I'm terrible.
When was
I listen to your. Do you talk about golf all the time? And I wish I could play golf as much as Ace plays golf. Right now,
we all do.
I played was probably played. When did Alexander McMahon get married? April.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, okay.
Hey,
Yeah.
by the way, you said Alexander?
yeah.
Yeah, my parents just moved right next to his in-laws.
Oh, really? Out in the Grove?
Yeah, literally neighbors.
Well, now you get to go play golf down in the Grove.
Dude,
And Alexander's wife went to Lee, right?
Correct.
Like golf at Lee?
Like golf at Lee.
listen to this, Nate. Alexander's wife has the course record at the Grove. You want to guess what it is?
64.
62.
That's
Wow.
pretty close.
I didn't know she had the course record.
She's got
Hey,
the
no,
course
she
record.
wasn't she like an All-American or something at Lee?
Yeah, she was
Oh,
amazing.
She's in the Hall of Fame at Lee for golf. So she's good.
A 62 is unreal, especially
That's
on that
awesome.
course. Oh my goodness gracious. All right, okay. Should every team make the conference tournament?
Yes.
Yeah, why?
It's kind of the part of the fun. Everyone gets a shot right there at the end. If you play terrible all year and get on a roll at the end of the season, like if you're the hottest team, the best team, you end up with 7 seed, why penalize them for having a bad start when they at the time are the best team in their conference, I guess. I don't know. I just think everybody should get a chance there at the end. It's kind of part of the fun.
Right, exactly. All right, okay, last one, my favorite. LeBron or Jordan?
Jordan, no question.
Why?
Sorry.
That's okay.
Why?
I expected it. I just expect it now.
He's
we
a little
we
bit.
gotta go ahead and change this question. It's been a lot of Jordan. Or we just gotta start asking like
I'll come up with another way to phrase
18-year-olds.
something.
Yeah. And you ask a high school kid right now, they're all going to say
What
LeBron.
draws you to Jordan over LeBron?
I just think he's got a little bit more of a dog mentality than LeBron. I just think he's a guy that's going to step on your throat, rip your head off, and then like he doesn't care. Where LeBron's like, I don't know. I don't know if he has that same killer instinct Jordan had.
I mean, you're right. A dude that makes the finals 8 years in a row has no killer instinct. None.
None.
No killer.
None. No, that's honestly a lot tougher question than I made it sound. It really is. Like LeBron's amazing. He's special.
We'll try to stray away from that one. Nate. Aaron, man, it was a pleasure having you on, dude. It was a blast talking to you. Where can everybody find you on social media? Instagram, Twitter, whatever.
Yeah, I think Twitter and Instagram. I'm both Aaron__Morrison on Instagram. Twitter is like _Aaron_Morrison, something like that. So I tried to use my first and last name as taken, so I had to add some underscores in it.
Yeah, and then I guess y'all got at MTCS Cougars, Cougar men's basketball or MBB.
Yep.
Right?
MTCS Cougar MBB is where you can follow us.
Cool, awesome, man. Well, you can find myself on Instagram at the Ace Spades with a Z on the end. You can find Nathan on Twitter at Coach Nate Moran. You can find him on Instagram at Nate5_Moran. You can find Mind of a Coach on Twitter at Mind of a Coach Pod, and you can find us on Instagram at Mind of a Coach. Coach Morrison, it was a pleasure, man. Thank you so much.
Thank you again, guys. Thank you.
Man, best of luck to y'all this year.
Appreciate it.